to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. I'm your host, Christopher Haralson. Every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. here on Super Talk Meridian, 103.3 FM, we take a look at the world of athletics at Meridian Community College. Later on in the show, I'll be joined by MCC men's basketball coach James Green. MCC basketball improved to 5-0 on the season Monday night after Meridian's 78-73 win over the Northwest Rangers. The Eagles defeated Bishop State last week 90-45 here in the Graham Gymnasium. Their next game will be Thursday as we host the East Central Warriors for a 6 o'clock tip. That game and all our home games can be called on mcceagles.live. The Lady Eagles improved to 3-3 on the season Monday night with a 61-54 win over East Mississippi Community College. Next, they host Northwest Florida in the Graham Gymnasium Friday night at 5 o'clock. And once again, you can catch that game on mcceagles.live. The MCC softball team will be hosting their annual Fall Prospect Camp Saturday, November 20th at Highland Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. From 10 to 1, they're going to work on infield and outfield, and then from 1 to 2, they're going to specialize on the pitchers and catchers. You can register for that event at mcceagles.com/camps. Also on that site, you can register for our first pickleball tournament that Coach T.J. Carter and the MCC tennis team are going to have. It's going to be Saturday, December 11th at 9 a.m. Again, mcceagles.com/camps. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the undefeated MCC Eagle basketball team with head coach James Green. You're listening to Super Talk Meridian, 103.3 FM. Welcome back to A View from the Top. I'm your host, Christopher Haralson. Today I'm joined by head men's basketball coach James Green. Coach Green, thank you for joining me today.
Well, it's great to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about the hot start to the season, which we capped off by beating Northwest Monday night. So we're now 5-0 early on in the season. Tell me kind of what you attribute such a hot start to.
Well, I think our leadership has been great this year. I think our depth is probably the best that it's been since I've been here. And our work habits have been really good. I think we have a team that has lots of character, respond well to coaching. We're probably further along in terms of our schemes than we ever have been.
Okay.
And so not only are they good character kids and doing better in the classroom, all those things, they're picking up more on the court. And I think our sophomore class has come back and shown a great leadership, and I think we have more pieces.
I was talking with Coach Broughton the other day. I feel like we're easily 13 or 14 deep. And like you said, it's the deepest we've been since you've been here. It's the deepest probably we've been since I've been here. And I just feel like whoever comes off that bench could have just as easily started the game because they come in and they give us instant energy and instant points. We talk about that sophomore class. We've got 9 sophomores.
Right.
Including one transferred local guy from Meridian High, McKeem Roberts, hit a huge shot for us Monday night to secure that win against Northwest, along with sophomores like Brandon Ellington from St. Louis. I kind of feel like, as Brandon goes, the Eagles go. Tell me a little bit about the sophomores and how important they've been to us.
Well, I think Brandon, if we go back to last year and what he meant to us last year, and we really can't forget last year and what that means in terms of our growth this year because we had a winning season, although it was a short season, and we felt like, and our guys felt like, that we could have even done better, in particular in the playoff game that we lost against Delgado. But I think they've come back, and I think even Brandon, we call him Nick, but his leadership, he's more vocal this year. Chris Terrell's more vocal. Kobe's more vocal. Akeem is more vocal. And these are guys that were in the fire last year.
Right.
And, I think a lot of our success this year has to do with our depth, and I think being able to play everybody early in some of those games gave everybody confidence, made them believe in each other. When you mentioned 13 or 14 guys, that is correct. And, you know, sometimes it's pretty difficult to find a way to play them all in each game. And you'll see them all, but the game, depending on the game, who you will see.
Right.
On Monday night, it was a very physical game. So there were a couple guys that can play and can help us win games that didn't play in that game.
Right.
And that'll change throughout the year.
You know, we go back to the sophomores, and it seems like last year, you know, that winning season we have, which has been hard to come by lately. I mean, that last year was probably the most successful season. Like you said, we were in the playoffs. I felt like some of our leadership last year, our sophomores, were content with being in the playoffs and not necessarily looking to go to that next level. And so with our sophomores this year, they got a taste of that. And I don't think they want to just make the playoffs. You know, I think they're looking for bigger things. And I think, you know, you talk about Chris Terrell, best game I've ever seen him play against Bishop State last week. Like we were in the middle of the game, and I was in the corner, and he threw a no-look pass to somebody on the baseline that I flinched because I thought he was throwing it at me. I mean, it was that good a pass, and the guy caught it and laid it up, and we went back to the other end. And I immediately texted our video guy, Matt Milner, and said, hey, we need to cut out a highlight reel for Chris Terrell. This is the best game I've ever seen him play. And I think he had 16 points and 8 assists, and he led from that point guard position. And I think that's something maybe we lacked last year, was the leadership from that point guard position. Chris was a freshman, but I don't think he felt like he owned the team.
Absolutely. You're very correct on that. And, you know, last year he didn't shoot the ball very well from the three. He did a lot of other good things, but he's shooting the ball better this year. His confidence is high. You know, you talk about those passes. I don't know if you remember, but I remember on Monday night, Brandon Ellington, Nick, set a ball screen for him, and Brandon was nowhere near where I thought he was throwing that pass, but there's just a chemistry between those two guys, both lefties, both made out of the same stuff, and he just wrapped it around his defender and just dropped it where he thought Brandon would be. He didn't finish the basket, but he drew a foul. It was a big-time pass and a big-time catch and go up by Brandon. You know, I think he's very key to our team. And you mentioned McKean that's here from Meridian. He's a different kind of guard than Chris. He doesn't have the blazing quickness, but he's strong, he's solid. He's been a guy that's kind of has a calming effect. His poise has been great out there on the floor. He can rebound. He shoots it very well.
He's as pure a shooter as I can remember us having from the outside in a long time.
Right, and the thing about it, he can get up in the air and shoot it. If he gets it around the lane, he's going to get that shot off quite a bit. But he also can shoot it a step behind the three. And so that's been a big change, and his experience has also made a difference in this team. We talk about all those sophomores. I think there's no question that's the key to what we've been able to do so far.
So for those that didn't get to come out Monday night or hadn't watched it on the live stream yet, help me reset the scene. I think we were 15 seconds left to go in the game. We're up 1. And we got the shot clock against us, so we got to take a shot before the game expires. Chris Terrell starts at the top of the key, dribbles in, draws everybody, and then kicks it back to McKean, who is wide open, like you say, about a step behind the three-point line, and he buries it. Did we draw it up for that shot, or did we draw it up for just Chris to create and let's see what happens?
Well, actually, we didn't. Actually, we wanted to make a pass to the corner and try to dump it down to Ellington on the post. But what happened was we ran our normal play. That play has options. We were going to use the corner option, but they didn't feel good about it, so we got it to Chris. He was the second option that time, mostly the first option. But we made that the second option, and when he got it, he's supposed to drive it, and he did, and he drew the defense and was able to kick it back out. And we talk to our guys all the time about not panicking when the shot clock gets low.
Right.
Sometimes it's okay if the shot clock goes out. If you're really working, rather than put up a bad shot or have a turnover and give up an easy basket. And I think that particular play will give our team confidence for in the shot clock situation.
Absolutely. So we've talked about all the sophomores, and like you said, we've got 9 of them, and their leadership is without question. But we got a key freshman I want to talk about, and you and I talked about him last week. It's Keyshawn Brown from Vicksburg High School. He comes in. I don't think he got in Monday night till about 6 minutes ago in the first half, and he didn't play as much in the second half as he has earlier this season. He got a huge dunk in the second half that just turned the gymnasium on its head. But he's second leading in scoring, and he probably doesn't get 15, 20 minutes a game, but he gets those garbage buckets, and he's efficient when he scores, and he is a spark off the bench that I just don't remember us having for some time.
Hey, he's been great. He makes the most of every second that he gets on the court. I guess a couple of weeks ago I was pretty hard on him, which I'm hard on all of them, but I singled him out. From time to time you single guys out. And his response was like he was a sophomore or above in how he responded to criticism. He's starting to understand when he makes mistakes. His future looks really good. He could shoot it from the outside. He's got to bend at the knees a little bit more on the defensive end. But he's quick. He's got a nose for the ball around the basket. It looks like he's wide open a lot, but that's just because he knows how to position himself to be wide open.
And when he gets his chances, like you say, I haven't looked at his shooting percentage, but I feel like it's got to be 85 or better, because I feel like if he touches it and he shoots, it goes in, and it's just that quick, whether it's a putback or a layup or a dunk like we talked about. He just always seems to, when he gets the ball, he gets it in the basket, and he makes the most of his time. Another guy, Randarius Hughes from Heidelberg, I feel like it's kind of that cut out of that same mold, maybe not quite as explosive as Keyshawn, but again, he comes in, he goes to the block, he plays good defense, he gets those rebounds, gets the putbacks, and he has solidified, with the two of them, and we've got, like we said, Ellington and a couple other guys. Our front line, I feel like, has got to rival anybody in this state with the depth and the size and the ability to score the basketball.
I think so. He's been a pleasant surprise. We're talking about a young man that came and tried out 4 times.
Wow.
To make sure he had a spot to play. And one of the reasons we had him continue to come try out was to make sure he really wanted it. And he proved that. He's got a good body, pretty good athlete. Scores it around the basket, gives us a little buck. And on Monday, when Brandon was in foul trouble, I thought in that first half to buy us minutes at that position, we lost nothing there. And that was really, really big. I think as he plays more, he's just going to continue to get better.
Sure, absolutely. So you and I worked together back, 20 plus years ago at Southern Miss. I was finishing up my undergraduate. Old. I know. I was finishing up my undergraduate degree. You were the head coach of the Golden Eagles, and I just got one season with you, just that 1 year, my senior year.
That's all you could take, huh?
That's it. I had to get out of there. But the one thing that I noticed then, and I notice it now, 20 years later, is we're gonna play good defense and we're gonna rebound the basketball. I don't know, and that's kind of what I want to know. Did you get some of that from like the Nolan Richardsons, the 40 Minutes of Hell from Arkansas, or is that something you grew up playing like that, or what is it about your coaching philosophy that you instill so much into the hustle and the defense and the rebounding that you've obviously carried throughout your career?
Well, I think it started as a player and understanding how much that meant to the game. I can remember being in junior high, and of course we had the same junior high coach as we did high school coaching in the small school, and him always saying, offense will win some girls, but defense will win some games.
Wow.
And so, we kind of bought into that, and we won a lot of games in high school. And then, I played for Bob Wetlick at Ole Miss. Didn't play a lot, but was a part of that team, part of the first SEC tournament championship team. And if I tell you a little bit about Coach Wetlick, he was an assistant to Bobby Knight at Indiana when they were 40-0.
Okay.
And then he took the job at Ole Miss, and you talking about grinding.
Sure.
We grind. And, it just made a believer out of me, because when we were playing people like Georgia that had Dominique Wilkins, or Auburn that had Barkley, and we defended the way he asked us to defend, we always had a chance to win games. And it just made a believer out of me. And then Tim Floyd, a guy I worked with at Iowa State, really believed in defense. And the teams that have been most successful that I have had has been good on the defensive end, smart on the offensive end, try to take good shots, be able to penetrate, do things, play good team ball.
I know, in the Mississippi Association, where we're limited to out-of-staters. We get 3, right? And then we're competing with 14 other community colleges in the state for the best basketball players in the state. We try our best to get the offensive talent that we can, but by always being strong on the defensive end, like we talked about last year. We had a guy last year that could shoot from Georgia. I mean, he could score the basketball. Justin Brown was a great shooter. And he won some games for us. He hit some game winners for us. But we were in those games because of those freshmen and because of the defense. And I kind of feel like, I hope I'm foreshadowing here, that we've taken that core group of guys that played such good defense, and our skill has gotten better with guys like Makeem Roberts and Chris Terrell shooting the ball better. So now we've got the offensive skill to go along with that defense. And I really think that that we're seeing the beginning of a really special season. I hope I'm not jinxing that, but I hope
not either.
I hope I'm foreshadowing, because it's been pleasant to watch. It's been fun to really see our guys get after it. That Northwest team we played, they're receiving votes in the top 25. I think a lot of people predicted them to be in the top 4 or 5 in the state, and they were good. There was no slight there. They I thought multiple times in that game, I thought, man, we must be blowing them out. And I look up, and it's a 2-point game because it was intense. It was back and forth. They took the lead. We took the lead. And they battled. Like you said, it was physical. And so I think, that's going to help us down the road. But I just feel like we've coupled that defensive prowess that we had last year with some offensive firepower. And like I said, the depth that we've got on that team, I think it's going to be special. I think we're set up.
Well, and I can remember telling Sander, whenever we could get to a point where we could have some carryover from one year to the next while we upgraded a talent level, then we would be more competitive. Didn't know how much we'd win, but I knew we'd be in more games. And we've had teams that have been in games that couldn't have won that game.
Oh, yeah.
In last year's team couldn't have won that game.
No, we would have I feel like down the stretch we would have put the ball in one guy's hand and nobody else would have done anything. And that didn't happen last night.
We get, and the guys believe in each other's ability. And I think that's very important. And I notice things that I never talk to them about a lot. I see in practice how they get around each other, high-five each other on every single play, whether it's offensively or defensively. And chemistry is very important. And I think the freshmen that we brought in, you mentioned some of them, and we have some other good ones, is that when you can bring in good freshmen, it may be the best freshman class that we've recruited.
Right.
And we're mixing them in where they don't have that responsibility that they had at one time because of the sophomore class.
Right.
So they're able to come along at a different pace than what we would have been forced to play them 2 or 3 years ago. And so I think that's made a big difference too. I mentioned leadership earlier. The sophomores have done a good job with that. They understand working.
Right.
We've had very little disruption by guys not practicing hard.
Right.
And so freshmen coming in, when you see the other guys doing that,
sure.
you just think that's what you're supposed to do. You may not be used to doing it,
right,
but you figure out if you're going to have a chance, you're
going
to have to do it.
That's right.
And I think that the buying in has been really good early. And I think when you're trying to build a program, being able to win games like we have to this point, the more you win, the more you believe, the more you want to win. The day after those type games, practice can be different. You can get a lot done still without spending the same amount of time. But when you lose and you don't play well, those practices are different.
That's right.
And it doesn't take a very sharp guy to figure that out.
That's right.
And so I think we're off to a good start. We've got a long way to go, but it is a good start, and it gives us a foundation to try to play from.
One of the things that I've noticed just from the outside looking in, you talk about that chemistry and the guys high-fiving, is whenever somebody comes off the court, be it foul trouble, be it they're tired, or be it that they've messed up, doesn't matter. They go down and they high-five everybody on the team all the way down to the guy, the practice players and the managers. And it's funny, I've seen a time or two where somebody comes off, maybe they messed up and they're pouting a little bit because they got pulled out of the game. Those guys at the end of the bench are like, "Nuh-uh, you're going to come down and high-five me."
Right.
We're in this together. And I think that camaraderie with the team, I don't see the divisions. I don't see, these 2 or 3 guys talking about these 2 or 3 guys. And I think a lot of that has to do with, we've won some games big early, and so everybody's gotten to play. Everybody's had an opportunity. And so I think that kind of helps with that team camaraderie, is that everybody's engaged and they're rooting for one another, because when you start beating teams by 45 points, that's fun.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's like you talk about practice the next day, it's fun to come out and have 6, 8, 10 dunks a game. And the stands, we've had really good crowd. Last year we were limited to COVID. It's good to see the fans back in the stands, and they've enjoyed it. We've got a group of students that have been here every night, and they're fired up, about basketball and about, supporting us, and I think it's been good to have. I'm glad that we're getting back to some sense of normalcy.
Right. And, our other athletes on campus have come in this gym and made it pretty special.
Right.
Even when there's not a lot of people in there, and I think they've had fun.
They have.
We go on the road and baseball teams sit behind us and aggravate us, and we don't sit behind their bench. We don't put ours behind their bench, but some people do. And but they have made a huge difference in how our guys feel, but also how the opposing guys feel.
That's right.
They're like the sixth man. And so we hope we continue to have a sixth man, and I know sometimes people come to see you when they think you're going to win or you've been winning. Hopefully we can continue to do that, and that there'll be even more students, more adults, more people in the Meridian community come and support this program. We have good guys that deserve support. And when I say good guys, I'm not talking about good players. I'm talking about good people.
Sure.
And, building a program has always been slow for us, because we try year after year to continue to bring in better people, better students, better basketball players, so that they can represent Meridian College, the city of Meridian, state of Mississippi, as well as we possibly can.
That's right.
And it can be something very special for a lot of these guys. Some of them will never play past Meridian.
Right.
And it's great to be a part of that. And some of them will have an opportunity to possibly play at other places.
That's right. Well, Coach Green, I want to thank you for joining me. For all those listening, we're back in the Graham Gymnasium tomorrow night at 6 o'clock as we take on the East Central Warriors. We'd love to have everybody come out and pack the Graham Gymnasium. We want as many fans to see just what we're talking about in this undefeated team and go ahead and get a taste so that you can be here all season as we make a run for the championship. We'll be right back after a moment. This is 103.3 FM, Super Talk Meridian.
Meridian Community College. For more than 75 years, we've helped students soar. Establishing the first tuition guarantee program in Mississippi, we put our students first, while creating pathways into the workforce and offering a seamless transition to a 4-year degree. Now is the time to find your purpose and register today, because those who move forward never get left behind. MCC, find your wings.
Welcome back to A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team here on Super Talk Meridian 103.3 FM. Once again, I'd like to thank my guest, head men's basketball coach James Green, for joining me today, the head coach of the undefeated Meridian Community College Eagles. I want to remind everyone, for more information about our upcoming softball camp and our pickleball tournament, go to mcceagles.com/camp. Men's basketball is back in the Graham Gymnasium Thursday night against East Central at 6 o'clock. The Lady Eagles will be here Friday night against Northwest Florida at 5 o'clock. We'd love to have you in the Graham Gymnasium to come out and support the Eagles and the Lady Eagles. But if for some reason you can't, you can always watch our home games at mcceagles.live. Be sure and join us next Wednesday at 9 a.m. here on Super Talk Meridian as I talk with our president of Meridian Community College, Dr. Tom Hubner. To keep up with all things MCC Athletics, like us on Facebook at MCC Eagles Athletics. Follow us on Twitter at MCC Eagles Sports. And for every episode of A View from the Top, Eagles highlights, and much more, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Meridian Community College. Thank you again for listening to this week's A View from the Top, brought to you by the Rush Sports Medicine Team. Once again, I'd like to thank head coach James Green for joining us. And join us every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on Super Talk Meridian 103.3 FM.